it's unfortunate, but it's also a financial windfall. Like the whole thing. It's weird because Conor, that's what he does.
Yeah,
he talks shit to people and fucks with their head. I mean, it's a giant part of his game, and I know that was part of the strategy of him throwing that dolly at the bus. That shit's way out of line. I mean, throwing a dolly at the bus, that's not what a martial artist does. If you stop and think about what we value about martial arts in terms of teaching children honor and respect and discipline and the things when we think of as a classical martial artist like Lyoto Machida or someone like that bowing to their opponent, that is not. This is theatrics. This is hype. But in all fairness, the UFC used that to sell that fight. I mean, that was a big part of their promotional campaign, was seeing Conor throw the dolly at the bus and the screaming and the yelling. You know, you're setting an example. There's something going on outside of the actual contest itself. There's all this extracurricular violence, right? There's throwing a dolly at a bus, shattering in the window, all these guys running and screaming, get off the bus. And then they're promoting this. They're showing this. And then everyone's shocked that it escalates after the fight itself. You know, in some ways, one of the more interesting moments of the fight was Khabib on top of Conor, beating the shit out of him, going, "Let's talk now." Have you seen that video?
Yeah.
That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, come on, let's talk. Bam! And he's just slamming him. Bam!
He told him he was going to do that before the fight, too. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk. We're going to talk.
Right.
When I'm on top of you and you're tired and I'm beating the fuck out of you, that's when we're going to talk. And that's what he did. You know, this is all not what Khabib does.
Right.
This is outside of his. If you look at his standard behavior, he's very respectful. I mean, he's never had an incident like this ever in a fight. All of his fights before that are him shaking his opponent's hand, doing the standard stare down, standard stuff, talking about his skill set and what he's going to do. And there's no disrespect. There's no insults. There's none of this.
That's what I mean about Khabib.
Yeah, but not Conor.
Yeah.
I mean, this is. But here's the other thing. On the other side, it makes it fun. I'm very torn because all the shit that he talked to Jose Aldo, look, that was a big factor in Jose Aldo charging at him, losing his composure, face first, and getting clipped with that left hand. That's a big factor, is the emotional angst that he had gone through for months and months on the road with this guy.
The mental warfare.
Yeah, I mean, that mental warfare is a real thing. It just didn't work with Khabib. It had the opposite effect. With Khabib, he's like, I can't wait to get my fucking hands on you. It wasn't, I can't believe this guy's saying these things to me. With Khabib, but it ramped up the violence to the point where he was letting you know, like, hey, this is real to me. Like, if you want to act thuggish, and we'll just keep going. I'll keep taking this. Like, he didn't want to stop after Conor had tapped. Like, he was holding on to him. And he's letting him know, hey, motherfucker, like, this is real. This is not just shit talking. Conor was saying to him, this is just business. It's just business. And he's like, let's talk now. Let's talk now. Like, he's like, this is not business to him. So to him, fights, I mean, this is what he said in the press conference. It should be, this is a respect sport. And this sport should be about two men expressing themselves to the best of their physical ability inside the cage. Just doing their best against the best fighters in the world, and that should speak for itself, and that they should have respect and honor outside of it.
I wish you would have had the chance to say that. You know,
yeah, we didn't have a chance.
The sad part was him letting the emotions take over what he felt, and instead of just getting the belt tied on and kind of killing them with kindness at the end and saying that and having that chance to put that in everyone's minds and ears.
He did in the post-fight interview, but I mean, how many, or the post-fight press conference, but how many people got a chance to see that?
A lot less.
I mean, just a few thousand, I'm sure, and as in comparison to the 2.4 million that downloaded the pay-per-view and the many, 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 many more that saw YouTube clips and Instagram clips. And yeah, I mean, everybody saw it. It's unfortunate, but it's also a financial windfall. Like, the whole thing, it's weird because part of what makes Conor so interesting is that he's so good at talking shit. He's hilarious, and he knows how to back it up. But when we saw him fight Khabib, he fell short. It's really that simple. When skill versus skill, he fell short. And the shit talking led to Khabib being taking it very personal and very personal at the end, and then pointing at Dylan Dennis and jumping off the top of the cage. The whole thing was just, it's so fucking crazy. But the idea that people should be surprised after Conor throws a dolly at the bus and then still winds up able to fight. I mean, just what did he do? Paid some money, did some, I mean, we got to do some service. What is it? His community service? I don't even know what he has to do.
I don't either.
That's where it's not.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, throwing a dolly is fucking way worse than punching a guy who punches people for a living, which is Dylan Dennis is a professional fighter. He's a professional fighter. He jumps out. He takes a swing at him. They're screaming, and Dylan's like, fuck you, and he's like, fuck you, and there's a bunch of people get involved, and then a bunch of other people jump in. The whole thing was nuts. But the idea that we should be shocked after him throwing a dolly at a bus because Khabib's on the bus, those Russians don't fucking play like that, man.
Yeah. Did you see the videos afterwards when Dagestan where they're shooting off the Uzis and AK-47s?
Yeah.